Anyway, now you can see we're up high as shit. You could just drive right up here. Really cool fern in the genus Jamesonia right there. Just those long, thin fern fronds. Pterodaceae is the family. They're the chilanthoid fern. They're related to the desert ferns. And there's that shrub Castanea again. About 4.5 feet tall. What a stunner. What a cool plant. Apparently it's parasitizing the Chiskea, this bamboo, which is so ubiquitous here, forming a little thicket. Now you can see it's pissing on us now, but we got a really interesting lycopod here. It looks like a Hupersia, those little monkey tail lycopods. Produces spores from in between those lycophils, those little spike leaves. This is cool. Here's another member of the coyote bush lineage, the Baccharis lineage. You can tell by those styles. I mean, and also, I know the plant, but multi-seriate phyllaries, kind of purplish flower heads growing at 11,000 feet elevation on a mountain in the tropics at 10 degrees latitude. And you got fuzzy leaves again because it can get so cold at night and because the atmosphere is so thin and the UV is that intense. It gets huge temperature swings because the air is much less dense. So it holds much less heat. It's much less density, you know? So it can be pretty warm during the day. I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now, and then it'll be, you know, be 40 degrees, even sometimes freeze at night. So that's the adaptive benefit, part of the adaptive benefit of those that pubescence. You can tell this is a windy spot because it's Chimerostaphylos arbutoides is all krumholz. It's blown up. It's been pruned by the wind, getting those updrafts from this little ravine up here. It just pissed for a little bit, okay? Warm, moist air comes off the Atlantic and then off the Pacific behind me and converges here. You get these updrafts, and as that air, that warm, moist air rises and cools, it dumps all the water. That's why this is such a wet area. And look at that. See, that's krumholz too. Must be fog just coming up here, you know, being blown up, you know. The same way they like if you're trying to boof yopo or something, they stick a tube up your butt and they blow, you know, same thing. It's the same thing going on. Right, to get this narrow ravine, all this air and moisture being channeled up. It's wild. I bet that thing harbors some really cool ectomycorrhizae, you know, because all the arbutoid ericaceae have some really cool fungi that they associate with. Yeah, there's that Escallonia species. God, it forms those flat sprays of leaves. Like there's some old flowers. See, little pendant bells on the thing. Escallonia myrtoria. Very dominant tree in Paramo. We also got this species of Cordideria, which is mostly down south. This has got to be the northern extent of this range of this genus right here, because this is mostly an Andean genus. Well, it goes down into, you know, eastern Argentina too. Pampas grass. Look at all the ribes too. Look at that. Ribes everywhere. Gooseberries for days. This is another, well, it's North and South American. I think there's ribes almost everywhere in temperate latitudes or cooler climates. There's those beautiful flowers. This is the Costa Rican one though. Growing on a little sky island. These Parmos are like sky islands, you know, because you need these mountains. These mountains for all this stuff to grow. It can't take. A lot of these genera have not adapted to lower, warmer temperatures. So they're kind of stuck up here or at higher latitudes. They can go north, they can go south, but they can't go down. They need a lot of this moisture too. Look at that Bomari. Look at those leaves. Get some high voltage lines up there. Oh, what a sound that is. Look at all the Jamesonia. God damn, that's a nice. Look at it. Look. Look at all that Jamesonia. What a cool fern. Look at how the fronds unfurl. Ah, those little golden heads. Look at that plant community. Bromeliads on everything. Bromeliads and epiphytes on everything. What is that? Warrawia? What is that genus of bromeliad? So diverse. Just what an incredible ecosystem. Now this is a nice plant community. You can see it's a little bit wetter, as indicated by the sphagnum, by the bog. And we got a really rare member of the bromeliad family right here. The northern extent of the range here for the genus Puya, which is right growing right there. Puya dasylirioides. So named because it kind of looks like a dasylirion. You can see those torch-like inflorescences up there. There's the plant. Look, it's got some spines on it. Dasylirion is the genus of sodal, which so many Texans know. We got these Blechnum tree ferns right here, Blechnum buctinii. Who is buctine? I don't know. You have a goofy name, no offense. Shouldn't be naming these plants after people. You can see that Puya, like so many bromeliads, produces offsets. It produces clonal offsets. It's not flowering right now. Growing with Chiskea. Got some cordillerias in there too. You can see it's misty as all hell. What a phenomenal plant community. Really rare. This is a really rare plant. It can only grow at these higher elevations. It can't grow below 10,000 feet. It needs the mist. It likes it cool and it likes it pretty wet. Again, you can see that sphagnum on the ground right there. This Blechnum is nice too. Almost looks like a cycad. Look at that. Blechnum is just covered in tongue ferns and Elaphoglossum, the genus Elaphoglossum. God, they look so wild. They look like cycads. You know, I've seen a couple other Blechnums do that. Look like cycads. Blechnacea. Anyway, here's the fruits on the Puya. You can see, God, that color's cool too. You can see they die after flowering. They're monocarpic like agave, but they produce so many offsets, as you can see. And those fruits are empty. They're devoid of seeds. I'd love to see one of these things flowering. The inflorescences are covered in hairs. Just like so much of this stuff in this habitat is. Yeah, look at those. Look at that Blechnum. Blechnum buctinii. Who is buctine? There's a sporophyll. It's producing spores out of those scales, out of those clusters of sporangia, which look much different. Those leaves, again, look much different than the vegetative leaves. What a unique habitat. God damn, look, it's everywhere here. It's basically stuck. It can't go anywhere else. It can't grow down below. It needs to be at these high elevation sites. It needs those cool nighttime temperatures. Which, you know, it's that the cool nighttime temperatures are really, plant metabolism's dependent on temperature. Whether it's, you know, hot days, cool nights, cool days, even cooler nights, hot days, hot nights, whatever. And humidity and elevation are two factors that drastically affect temperature, which then in turn drastically affects whether a plant can grow in a certain climate. Well, you know, because that's what its metabolism. Those temperatures are what its metabolism is adapted to. Is it Buctinia? Is it the same Blechnum as that? I don't know. Probably. Got your Jamesonias everywhere. Just a fucking wild habitat. Such a wild habitat. Yeah, see, look at that. That's where water collects during the wet season. Remember, technically this is the dry season right now, or the drier season. Both those St. John's worts are here. Those hypericums, right there with those imbricate leaves. Your whole thing is just done. I don't think we're going to see any in flower, but that's okay because this is pretty cool as is. You know, salamanders reportedly like to, you know, climb up these inflorescences and eat arthropods. God, it's wild. You got the Jamesonia, you got sphagnum, you got the Chiskea. Wonder if it's a different, looks like a more diminished species of Chiskea than one I've been seeing. Yeah, it might be the same. And who doesn't love a basidio-lichen? There's the genus Cora again, doing what it does. A fungus and a cyanobacteria. A fungus and a photobiont working together, maybe with the yeast involved too, to create this structure right here. That genus Cora is all over the place. Normally you see lichens, they don't look like that. This looks more like a polypore mushroom. And that's because the fungal host is a basidiomycete instead of an actinomycete. So Cora, which there's some really beautiful ones. They're all over the world. I've just seen one really beautiful blue one down in Ecuador. This has got kind of a russety brownish beige to it. That's nice. There's that Hypericum again at St. John's wort. Here's an interesting composite. When I first seen it, I thought it was a Baccharis, but I'm guessing it may not be because those styles are pretty forked. Maybe it could be, I don't know. No, it doesn't quite look like it. You see those yellow forked styles. It does have a lot of pappus hairs on it, though, indicating wind dispersal. It's probably a 30-year-old plant, too. I can't imagine stuff grows too fast up there. Where's that Gaultheria again? Puya up the wazoo. We got Puyas everywhere. Don't get tired of looking at these habitats. Are so cool and so unique. Hello, Hypericum. You look like all the other Hypericum that I've ever seen in my life. You get jaguars and pumas up here? You get pumas for sure. I don't know about jaguars. Maybe I'm being hunted right now. You little torches. Bunch of little torches. Those Puyas just sticking up. Yeah, when do they flower? How long do they take to flower? Probably 20 years. You know, I grew a Puya alpestris from seed. Took 8 years to flower. I planted it illegally on Mandela Parkway in Oakland. I think it's flowering right now. Somebody just sent me a pic. More of that sphagnum. Very wet area. It really does look like a sodal. I guess I can understand it. Jamesonia everywhere. More of the blechnum. Alright, you get these ruts. I forget. I'm walking all over this. I'm walking all over the sphagnum. Boy, sure is wet up here. Look at that pubescence. God. How long do you live for? How do you do what you do? Look at this blechnum, a whole mound of sphagnum, the cool lycopods. Got Puya on the side right there. Got Weinmannia in the background, Cunoniaceae. How old is this blechnum? How old is this tree fern? Technically, it's not a tree fern. I mean, it's a blechnum. The tree ferns are the Cyathias and the Dixonias, but I mean, God, it might as well be. Look at that beautiful patterning of trichomes and scales. God, that's a beautiful, that's a portrait right there. That St. John's wort and that Baccharis looking composite right there are dominating this bog, this boggy area, along with the Puya, the Chiskea, and the blechnum. I don't think I came this way. Which way did I come? It's so easy to get lost and torn up, you know? Oh, God. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that habitat. Ah, it's incredible. The sun's coming out a little bit. Yeah, see, and you drop down a little bit and they're everywhere. They really like it wet. They like the lower lying boggy areas. How'd you get up here? Huh? Biogeographically speaking, how long have you been up here? When did you speciate? Out of an ancestor you share with other Puya species? Such a big genus, especially in the Andes. Here's some rubiaceous bastard. Rubiaceae, the coffee family, almost looks like a houstonia, like some of the houstonias we get in the United States, but you can see it's got that paramo vegetation type. Ericoid leaves, almost imbricate like snake scales or roofing shingles, white abaxial surfaces, glabrous, but then it's got the 4 petals, and a typical synapomorphies, well, typical flower structure of a lot of members of Rubiaceae. Look at that lycopod, just going for it. That lycophyte, see? He's just going for it. Ooh, I'm hearing thunder. Don't want to be this high up when you're getting lightning striking down everywhere, you know? Bad place to be during a thunderstorm. And I love that. Anyway, there you go. Puya dasylirioides, the northernmost member of the genus. And it's our old friend Castanea talamancensis. The woody, shrubby Castanea with the ketchup and mustard sepals. Looking like a little oval, little fused oval. God, that's wild. Look at that. Little depression, a little bag. Where all the Puya dasylirioides in the world can be happy and find itself. Yeah, that looks like a particularly massive one over there. What was that? Is that what that? Yeah, that is. It's a dead Puya. They can get massive, I guess. Who's that? Is that Chimerostaphylos? No, that's that Weinmannia. That's that Weinmannia. Cunoniaceae, and you got a Flora or an Oreopanax. Oreopanax in the background, Aureliaceae. Chiskea. Yeah, see, there's the Chiskea flowers. Little anthers dangling out. Monocarpic. So this will die afterwards. But you know, they send out runners. There's Chiskea everywhere. I'm curious what the seeds look like. Just like a grass inflorescence, just like grass flowers, wind pollinated, not showy, just dumping out so they can get picked up. The pollen grains and get those light weight pollen grains and get picked up on the wind currents and transferred to a female plant wherever there's a female blooming. Looks like the anthers got pores. Do they have pores? Are those porocidal anthers? How do they do this? They dumping it out or what? Dumping it at the bottom? It certainly does look like it's got a pore in there. Huh? How about that? Yeah, bright red new growth on this ericoid bastard. On this blueberry. It's neotropical blueberry. There's the fruits. I mean, some of these are really delicious. Looks like a little upturned pot. A couple more Puya here, but not that many since it's not as wet. Lots of Hypericum, St. John's wort. A couple grasses at Chiskea. You got a whole damn Blechnum forest down there. Blechnum tree fern forest. Got that wine mania. That wine mania is what's lighting up that hillside, all that white. It's all flowering. Oh, it's starting to rain again. All right. I think that's it. I think we're done now. I've been seeing these opposite-leaved, yellow distal-leaved little shrubs everywhere, wondering what the shit they were. Didn't recognize it. It's Gyodendron, which is a hemiparasite. I don't know what they're parasitizing. Probably the Chiskea. I think everybody is. The Castanea too. But there you go. Loranthaceae, the tropical mistletoe family. Those are old flowers. There's a flower that's open. You can see the stamens poking out. And look at that. Loranthaceae is a cool family. The tropical mistletoes all over the world. In the southern hemisphere and low latitude northern hemisphere. I should mention these guys produce an edible fruit too. It's actually quite delicious. Yeah, how many petals you got? 6? That's kind of unique. A lot of Loranthaceae only have 4. You can see they're everywhere though. Not getting too tall here. Could be a much bigger shrub. Not much bigger, but you know, 4 feet, 5 feet, maybe 8 feet tall. Look at that weird red moss. What is it? The sporophytes? Those red things? What's going on there? Why you look so weird? Look pretty unique though. It's pretty cool. Another weird guy. That thing's not too abundant. I haven't seen too much of that. Seen a lot of weird shit. Look at that yellow moss in the background. Whole unique plant community. Can't believe some people would bulldoze this. It's because their fucking mind is broken. That's why. You got something wrong with you. You know, whole nother level of retard right there. Of course, you would never call anybody who was actually retarded. You save that for people that just act like morons, you know. Yeah, it's sphagnum. Beautiful patterning. Now, right in a type of habitat where it seems like you get pounced on by a puma or perhaps an Andean bear. No, I'm just kidding. Those Andean bears, they don't come this far north, and they would never do something so heinous. They're so sweet. You find this species in the family Gentianaceae. It's a neotropical genus of Gentianaceae. You get those nectar spurs in there. I cut one of the petals off, just so you could see what's going on. You got an ovary in the center, and what is it, 4 or 5 stamens. You can see it's just growing right there next to the wine mania. You got some here too. But those nectar spurs are real unique. What did this co-evolve with pollinating it? Probably some sort of moth, huh? Could be a fly too. Could be a fly. Look at Ribes Costa Ricensis. God, I can't get enough of it. Look how the inflorescences, they got like a little tail thing going. looking like a little prehensile tail. Produces edible berries, currants, gooseberries. Why is it called a gooseberry? It's a goofy ass name. I don't know what that's about. There's the leaves. You get ribes in Chile, a bunch of ribes in North America. There's a cool desert one in northern Baja. Well, desert chaparral. And this is the high elevation Parmo one. We're at 11,000 foot elevation here. Produces edible berries. Look at those red petals. Evidently pollinated by hummingbirds. You know, I'm sure other stuff hits it too, but the hummers are everywhere. They're just flying around like little crackheads fighting with each other. One dive bombed me. It's really out of control here. And they're selecting for a lot of the plants here. So you see a lot of red tubular flowers like that Bomaria back there in the background. It's a vine. It's not that grassy you're looking at. A lot of hummingbird pollinated flowers, including Ribes costaricensis. So what you're looking at right here is a paintbrush. That is, it's in the genus Castanea, the genus known colloquially as the paintbrushes. In the Orobanchaceae, the family, they're all Hemiparasites. They all can photosynthesize a little bit. They got chlorophyll, but they're going to steal a little bit from a neighbor, and that's what this is doing. But different from most of the species that we get in North America, this species in the high elevation, 10,500 foot elevation Paramo habitat where it's winter every night and summer every day, this species, Castanea talamancensis, is a shrub. It's a 5 foot tall shrub, and you can see it right there with those ketchup and mustard sepals. Ketchup and mustard bracts, and then inside that, they make this kind of little vaginate structure. Inside is the petals, which form another little semi-vaginate structure. See, there's a little style poking out of one. Or is that an anther? I can't really tell. But a woody paintbrush, how about that? A woody shrub paintbrush. Life finds a way. There's all kinds of weird shit here. Pollinated by hummingbirds, no doubt. They're sticking their little beaks in there to get at the nectar at the base of those flowers and then getting their heads dusted by the anthers like you see dangling out of that flower right there with pollen. Fucking hummingbirds, man. They're really out of control. Here we got a species of melastome. And how do we know? Because you got those very distinct anther appendages. Another species of Castanea. This one, however, is not woody, and it's got very red leaves and stems. And no yellow in those floral bracts. Oh, I guess there's some at the base. There you go. That's one hell of a fuchsia right there. Look, it's got pubescence on those leaves, probably to protect it from both sun and frost. Jesus, look at that. 4 sepals, 4 petals, and then those 8 stamens. Hummer pollinated. There's those fruits, too. Look at the shape of those. They look like one of those Myconite candies. They still make those? I don't think so. There's that other Castanea, the non-woody one, with those mahogany leaves and stems. You can see it's in full anthesis right there. Ooh. Much different bract structure than that woody one as well. But still surely parasitizing a nearby plant. Could it be that ericaceous thing? That Gaultheria with the little white flowers? Or could it be tapped into the root of the Chiskea? Might be the Chiskea. They like grass. A lot of paintbrushes seem to like grasses. That's nice. Look at it. Look at a fuchsia splayed all over the rocks like that. Awaiting their hummer pollinators. Looking like some sort of candy. Evening primrose family, Onograceae. Same family as Onothera and Gora. And nice rocks here. And right here we got a species of Berberis. I'd know those fruits anywhere, that blue fruit. And it's got spines as well, like they so often do, like Berberis so often do. We get Berberis in Texas, we get Berberis trifoliolata, Berberis swayzii, and South America has a shit ton more in the genus Berberis. A shit ton more species in the genus Berberidaceae. You can get the berberin compounds, those yellow compounds in the roots. Pharmacological interest. And here is yet another Berberis species. Looking more like the Mahonias. Same fruit structure. You can see that stigma on the end of that fruit or that ovary. And the flowers are yellow. Some are flowering still. Forming a nice little colony right here on top of this, barely any soil here. It's kind of chilly. Wonder how cold it gets at night. And there you can see there's a bunch flowering down there. Berberidacea. Okay, so we're up here now. We're at a nice little bog, and we got a species in the genus Escallonia. It looks a lot like Escallonia myrtoidea, which you get in the same Paramo habitat in Ecuador. It's not flowering, but it's just got those very distinct leaves, leaf capsules. But almost more interesting over here, we got a species in the genus Myrhidendron, a tree carrot, about 20 feet tall, about 5 or 6 meters tall. You can see there's the trunk right there. It's massive. It's a genuine tree. And then here's the leaves, looking like some sort of angelica or parsley. Massive. Elevation here's 10,600 feet, about 3,500 meters. You can get a nice little bract up there too. Let's see what we got. If you could see any of the floral structures. Yep, there you go. A compound umbel, as one would expect to see in the carrot family Apiaceae. Anyway, you can see it's got multiple stems, 20 feet tall. Just fucking wild. Variations on a theme. Again, it looks like a giant angelica. Or a giant parsley. This is cool. A Paramo pokeberry. A Paramo pokeweed. Phytolacca. Phytolacca rugosa. Caryophyllales is the order. I think this is it Phytolaccaceae still? God, that thing is lit up. It's so flamboyant, but still herbaceous. Or is it woody back there? I don't know. Either way, we're at 10,500 feet. And there's one of the flowers. You can see that ovary is what matures into a berry later on. Got many stamens in there. The berries aren't edible, but the leaves reportedly are. Oh, this is nice. We got a species of Elaphoglossum with the blue adaxial surface. No, I wonder what that is for. Glabrous as hell. No pubescence. And I can't find a sporophyll either. God, that's gorgeous. So look at that. Some reflecting that sunlight through that thin atmosphere and high UV, or for growing in the understory and collecting light. Who knows? It's a massive pile of shit. It's probably a tapir. Just absolutely. I mean, look at that. That's just for size. That's, you know, it's far bigger than you're going to find on the streets of San Francisco or Los Angeles. We got a nice bromeliad. You can see the habitat we're in, though. This little elfin forest. Well, not quite elfin forest. They got a tall canopy. Piles of shit everywhere. So, you know, whatever animals do. Could it be a horse? Is there like a wild donkey? I mean, that's a really impressive pile of shit. Beautiful red bark on these trees, whatever they are, but it's a very dense canopy and you can't quite see. Wonder if it's in the rose family or if it's one of those Escallonias or what. Can't quite see. Couple large interesting trees here, including this member of the ginseng family, Aureliaceae. This is Oreopanax. I think it's Pycnocarpus. Those large leaves right there. And then this guy right here with these axillary flowers is Myrcene. It's the genus Myrcene. Myrcene dependens, family Primulaceae. Look at those big juicy anthers right there. Formaris. Numbers of 4. I've seen this as a shrub. To it here, it's a medium-sized tree. God, look at that. Weird stuff up here, man. Glabrous leaves, alternate leaves. Such unique habitat. And then you got these Chiskea fields. What little composite is that? Did we see it already? Oh, it's just that Baccharis, I think. Is it? I can't tell. I don't know. There's so much diversity. At least in Asteraceae. There we go. Nice clumps of bromeliads. It's Puya dasylirioides. Total. They're even more magnificent when they flower. But none are flowering right now. Black spines along the margins. Oh, lycophytes. That Gaultheria, Chiskea everywhere. God, such cool habitat. Jesus. And hard pan. Look, you got hard pan soil. Got to be really careful where we walk. More of those bromeliads. And then we got a different Hypericum species. Oh, yay. I mean, no offense, but yeah, it's always nice. I'll document it. It's definitely one of those genera you just get down to genus, and I just leave it at that. I have very little interest beyond the level of genus because there's just so many species and they all look alike. There's same variation and a theme, same flower structure, just different leaves. Look at that! Look at that clump of Brahms. That clump of Puya dasylirioides. Here's a species of myrcene, axillary flowers, 4 petals, generally 4 anthers. Is that right? 4 anthers? Yeah, about. And glabrous leaves, but those axillary flowers just coming out of the leaf axils is really the key giveaway. God, oh, this hard pan. There's barely any soil up here. What grass is this? Is that a molly or something or what? Yeah, there you go. A bunch of sphagnum moss. We're in a sphagnum bog. It's just the dry season right now, so this is probably normally all inundated with water during the rainy season. It's just dry right now. Should start raining in a few months. Because we're in a climate where it's, summer every day, winter every night. It's already getting chilly. The sun's not even close to being down yet. Cupersia species, another lycopod. And there are that's where the spores come out of, right there in between those little lycophils. You can see, maybe it's not releasing yet. God, what a weird lineage. Look, see. Oh my God. It's just like a pile of green ropes on the ground right here. Two really cool, interesting fern. That's a fern, and this is a fern ally. It's one of the, quote, spike mosses, not a moss. It's got vasculature. Oh, look. Is that the same thing, or is that something different? I can't even tell, God damn it. Oh, it's so weird. So weird and lovely. Bromeliads that are trying to be agaves are just converging on a theme that works. Wonderful monocots, nonetheless. Look at all those inflorescences. Oh, you got a Chiskea flower now. You don't even see that. Anyway, that's all I got. Have a good rest of your day. Hopefully you got something out of that. Really weird and unique habitat type. The stuff that evolves here can't go down. And as climate changes, it's going to get squeezed even higher up. I mean, there's not a lot of places that can recreate these types of habitat conditions. Winter every night, summer every day, lots of rainfall, high UV, etc. So this is why it's so important to preserve habitat. Am I going to get down? I want to step on these things. Anyway, that's all I got. Have a good day. Go fuck yourself. Bye.